What if Deku was the projector from Bendy and the Ink Machine, Part 3. Last where we left off, Alice Angel and Boris lied to Sammy Lawrence. Some students had found where they lived and went back to the training camp, and there was an investigation of the sites of missing thug groups. And Sammy Lawrence had asked the lost ones to keep an eye on the training camp. Let's go to the next day, where Projector Deku is currently walking along the tree line as it is nighttime. As he's walking around the tree line with the lost ones, as one of them does sign language saying, "What are you doing here, Projector?" He just flashes a screen on the ground. "I was asked to set up these mini projectors," as he holds one around the place. "We can assist you with that. That would be most appreciated," what is showed on the scene that he's projected. As the lost ones are speaking through sign language. As he hands a couple to them. "Should we set any on the mountain?" Projector Deku projects, "I will take care of that." As he starts to make his way towards the mountain. He's walking up and he hears, footsteps. He quickly hides behind a boulder as he hears a kid walking up. As he thinks, "Why is there a kid up here?" As he turns his projector head out and sees Koda just sitting on his usual spot on the mountain. "No one should be here by themselves. Do I?" As he leans his hand right out from his hiding spot, as he just pulls it back. No. He's no threat. He simply just sets a camera, or a projector camera that he can create, and sets it there. My job here is done. As he makes his way, through the forest line and all that, back to the base, while we go and see Sammy Lawrence and Alice and Boris all arguing. "You two lied to me." "Yeah, so we did. Who told you?" "That's not your business who told me. Some of the lost ones sighted you," as he's lying. I should have known that there was too many of them to keep track of. "Well, anyway, you lied to me about people not coming here. So what? You didn't need to know." As Boris agrees, "You were gonna kill them if you had seen them. After all, that's what you do." "Bendy demands more bodies. We are so close to finishing Bendy's plan." "Only a few more bodies and then the plan is complete. We can finally kill that all for one." "Yes, I agree with you on that. It's just, they were just kids." "They may have been kids, but they were trespassing. And we don't want word out of us. You know, if they see us, they will turn us to the police. They'll turn us to the heroes. They don't... You know what happened when we tried to release ourselves. Reveal ourselves. Isn't that right, Boris?" As Boris looks away. "It didn't end well. We had to kill a whole group just to keep this thing quiet." As Alice is like, "What are you talking about?" This was before you and Projector joined." "Boris thought it was a good idea to reveal ourselves to a small town. They called Heroes Police. We got shot at. We ended up massacring everyone there that night. Because we know, and especially I know, if word got out, every hero in Japan would be after us." "So you just murdered them all?" "I had no other choice. It was either that, or us being on wanted posters all over the place and them never stopping the hunt." "Still, you can't just murder an entire village like that." "This is why I was trying to keep this down. And the fact that you, Boris, denied this, lied to me, and you've been here longer than I have, is really irritating. You know, Bendy took severe damage from us revealing ourselves that day. Sorry. If it wasn't for Projector, y'all be getting much more worse punishment than not be able to leave the place for a month. As they're surprised, the Projector? Yes, the Projector found out I was mad at y'all, so he did a favor for me without knowing it, and is currently putting cameras around the training camp for me, as well as the lost ones also observing. Although, because of y'all's foolish actions, I will be taking a life of a pro-hero, because Projector has warned me, and he's currently looking into our, case of the missing group of thugs. As their surprise, yeah, so thanks to y'all not letting them go, although it may have caused more problems if you did kill them, but still, you know I don't let anyone leave this place. They trespass, they die. You know this. As both of them look down, as Projector Deku enters the room. Projector, did you finish setting them up? As he simply nods. Thank you. Y'all two are dismissed. No, I got a few more questions for you, Sammy. Listen, Alice. Ask Boris. I'm not in the mood. As then a loud grunting noise is heard, as the door opens. As it's Bendy. What are y'all arguing about this time? Oh, Bendy, sir. I wasn't expecting you to come out so soon. We're almost at the amount of bodies to make enough Lost One to make a counterattack on All for One. Of course, Master. Now, Projector, did you do as I asked? As he nods. Why did you ask him? I had a hidden conversation with him right before I went to bed the other day. As all of them are shocked, I asked them to bring me some more bodies before dawn. He complied with my request. There was a few villains trying to make a little camp in the forest. As they look at Projector, as he simply nods. We are pretty much complete on the plan, but until we have All for One in a certain location, where we know where he is, my plan cannot come to fruition. Luckily, from the information Projector has received, I believe he's using this League of Villains. League of Villains? Wait, is he possibly using a guy for portal quirk? Yes. So he may be behind the LOV, backing them up. As Bendy nods. We just simply need him to show himself. And then I will do the rest. But what if you have to go in and fight the heroes? I don't care if I have to reveal myself to the heroes now. I just want him dead. And most of you can agree with me. As he looks around, as Sammy just simply nods his head, Projector just nods his head. Boris, on the other hand, I don't like this fighting and violence. We need to stop. That won't stop until All for One's dead. Fine, but you have to promise me this. After All for One's dead, this whole thing comes to an end. As long as the heroes leave us alone, then it's where it ends. Al speaks up. You know they're not going to stop once you reveal yourself. They're going to hunt you down. That's their choice. They will die, if they choose so. Like they should, if they dare interfere with our Lord Bendy. Why do you always speak of him in such high regards? Because without him, none of us would be here. Especially me and Projector. I found Projector in a very bad state. He was barely alive. And when I brought him to Bendy, he managed to heal him. As they look at Projector as he nods, he doesn't have any memories prior, but he remembers me dragging him back to the place. This place. But I will make a deal with you, Boris. As Boris looks over, they may try to find me, but I will promise to you I will not leave this facility. But if anyone enters, they will die. That's the best I can get out of you. And I promise not to send Sammy out to gather more corpses. As Sammy's surprised, 'cause I don't need that anymore. Very well. Just don't do anything else after that. I'm only doing this because I owe you a favor, and you're currently using it. Yes. Anyway, get me when All for One has revealed himself to the public or something. As he walks away, he's not in a good mood either. Like you're one to talk. You know why I'm not in a good mood, Alice. As Projector just starts projecting an image, or words, we need to stop. We are not going to get anywhere just arguing with each other. For once, I have to agree with Projector. But listen, these actions. We may have the body count now that Bendy needed. Whatever those bodies were used for. Guarantee it was to increase his power. But whatever. As the words appear more on the screen again. We still going to kill the hero Eraserhead? I don't know. I was planning to use his corpse. But I don't know anymore. Considering we're not allowed to leave this place after we're done with this mission of killing All for One. As Projector Deku looks over, don't put yourself down. We may still be able to transfer back into society. As Sammy just punches the wall. No, we cannot. As Projector Deku steps back, they're never going to accept us. As he walks out, take it easy, Projector. He remembers the last time we tried to integrate back into society. They tried to murder us. Sammy Lawrence almost got thrown into a furnace. And it would have killed him if it wasn't for Bendy who saved him. They wanted us all dead because of our appearances, you see. They didn't really care for mine, thinking I was just a mutation, but they saw Bendy and Sammy as monsters. But since I was with them, they also deemed me as monster as well. But they called us villains. They tried to arrest us. When shooting us is when they tried to shoot us, really when we fought back. We didn't mean to kill anyone that day. Then why did it turn into a massacre like he said? We didn't mean to kill anyone. But it turned into a massacre because, unlike all of us, Bendy knew that the heroes would not stop coming if we didn't just have the entire thing quiet. So did you have your hand bloodied up too, Boris? As he's about to speak, Projector Deku shows a few words on the wall. He most likely had to. After all, I can see Bendy's reasoning. Thank you. But still, it doesn't make it right. You'll probably kill children. We killed anyone that saw us that day. No one was spared from the wrath. So let me guess, women and children too? Yeah. Still, you have to listen to me, Alice Angel. We cannot leave this place. It's safer for us here. There is no way we can integrate back into that society. They see us as monsters, killers. In one hand, we are. But on the other hand, we're just trying to survive. Our lives have been turned into nothing but failed test subjects. Beings that no one's going to appreciate. The only one of us that could possibly go back to society is me and you. Projector, Sammy, and Bendy, with their appearances, would most likely not be able. They would definitely consider Projector a Nomu. As Projector Deku just nods and projects a few words, he's most likely right. From the videos y'all showed me from the Nomus and all that, they would probably consider me one and try to eliminate me. The only good thing is, none of them know our faces. And that's the thing we've been trying to hide. I know this may not be the right thing. And we're all caught off in anger right now. But we cannot let rage consume us. Bendy has already been consumed by too much of it. All because of the experimentations. Projector doesn't really have any memories. As he just nods his head. You, on the other hand, remember quite a bit of your past life, before the experimentation. I do. Then what was stopping you from going back? Was it the appearance? No. I've got no family left. I was an orphan on the streets. Well, that explains why you're still here. What about Sammy? Sammy doesn't remember much. Bendy, I don't know if he remembers anything, or he may remember everything. I never asked him. As Projector then starts projecting a few words. What about you? I prefer not to get into that. As Deku projects more words. Very well. Just don't fall in too much into, well, rage, madness, like they have. As Projector Deku projects a few more words, Sammy has not fallen into complete madness. How would you know that? He has a lot of built-up anger and rage. But he still has a kind side to him. As Boris and Alice are shocked. Put trust in Sammy. He's not a bad guy. Are you saying this because he protected you? And saved you? Alice, don't... That's probably not his reason. How do you know? He could be just backing up Sammy because he helped save his life. I don't care. I'm going to bed. I need some rest after this headache of an argument with Sammy and Bendy. As she walks out and slams the door. Don't take her words to heart. You're probably the youngest of us. And most likely the last experiment that will be failed after this. As he just tilts his head and just projects a few more words. What do you mean? Bendy wants to kill all for one. And Sammy's willing to help him do it. After that, I don't know what Bendy would do after that. He's too much consumed in rage. I fear he could go after anyone. In cities and all that. So him keeping the end of the bargain of my deal is what's going to keep him here. And Sammy's not allowed to leave either. What is your powers? As he projects that onto the wall. Well, I was granted with the ability of a special type of ability that was implanted to every Nomu. Basically a core-canceling Nomu thing. I can stop them from leaving buildings. As he projected, so you could prevent all of us from leaving this place. Yes, essentially I can. I'm guessing the downside is you also have to be in this place. That is the downside. So is this the reason why Bendy doesn't leave the place? One of the reasons. The other one, he doesn't want to get seen or noticed. He doesn't want All for One trying to finish the job. Then he would send Nomus, all other sorts of villains, just to wipe us out. As a few words appear on the wall, I agree with Sammy on some things. But you've obviously overlooked that they're not just driven by rage. As Boris looks at him, and how can you be so sure? As he projects, I sense an area of sadness around Sammy. Bendy, I'm not so sure. But Sammy is surrounded by anger and sadness. What type of quirks did they give you? I don't know myself. Just the projector, creating many cameras, and increasing and decreasing my size. That's all shows up on the screen on the wall that he's projecting. Not surprised. They obviously give us more than one quirk. Tell me, are you afraid of Bendy? Yes, I'm terrified of him. We may have been together, just me and him when he was starting out. We weren't throwaways, failed test subjects when this all started. We were actually successes. Then why were you all thrown away? I don't know how this turned into a backstory thing, Projector. I'm just trying to comfort you. For a Nomu that doesn't seem to remember anything, you sure have a kind side for us. As the words, it just feels like you need to vent. I suppose you're right. As he just sits in a chair. Sit down. I'll go over the story. As Projector Deku takes a seat. Well, a few years back. 10 most. Bendy was considered a success, Nomu. He was very powerful and a successful project. He would grow in every contact of ink, so this place was made perfectly for him. But All for One decided to abandon it and move to a new location. Of course, me, at the time, was just created, so I didn't know much other than that. I did know they did not treat Bendy very well. There was always a shock collar on us at the time. We failed something of his, we would get shocked. He would constantly try to experiment with us. Until he figured Bendy and I were failed projects. Seeing our potential could not grow anymore. Well, he's wrong about that. Bendy's potential's just been growing ever since. I still remember the other Nomus. Their cries out. We were more human than Nomus at the point at the start of the project. They started using corpses at a different time. So, words appear, so they used live test subjects for the start of the project. Yes, they used live test subjects. The pain we endured was nothing else. Those Nomus that are created now are just thankful they were already dead. The injections, the amount of pain of getting a quirk, having more than one shoved into you. To use it to his will. It's just very bad. I never got the worst of it, because I was meant to keep all the Nomus in line at the time. I couldn't disobey. I just did my job. As a few words appear on the wall, through Deku's projector head. So, the beginning process was very hard. Yeah. It got better when they decided to just discard us. They thought we were long dead after anger of being defeated by someone. He got so angry he started destroying the place. Even thought he killed me and Bendy because of his rage. He simply said we were failed test subjects and that we were no longer needed. Then he simply just blasted us, having us make several injuries. Of course, we recovered due to our regeneration capabilities thanks to that man. But the trauma of it left us scarred, and Bendy seeks vengeance for that. He doesn't care how many people he kills. As you can see, you've had to bring him corpses. Quite a few. As he projects, yes. I thought he was going to let this thing go. And he did let go for a time. And we lived in this place for a very long time without anyone disturbing us. In fact, I don't even know when we were the first projects. I estimate 7 years. It could be 20. It could be 100. I don't know when we were created. That's how long we've been in this place. Then, Sammy. I found Sammy when I was just roaming out about. Bendy was more of a cheerful state now that he was free for all for one. But he always had an eeriness side to him. So Bendy was more cheerful back then. Shows on the wall through Deku's projector head. Yeah. And he saved Sammy's life as a failed project with his ink powers. And Sammy was really thankful to Bendy and would follow Bendy's orders like no tomorrow. Seeing him as like a lord, master, kind of like how we thought for a time. All for one was ours. As the projector Deku projects go on. And then we went to a village. It was a small town. We wanted to try to integrate ourselves back into society, thinking All for One had forgot about us. Which he never found out about that incident. Although, they did find out about the massacre that day, but did never found the culprits. Which was y'all. Yes. Bendy was very thorough to make sure no one survived. But I never told him this. That I did let one kid get away. So not everyone died that night. Yeah. Although, I'm surprised he didn't tell anyone. And it's probably for the best he didn't. Why is that? As it appears on the wall. You know how I do the projector Deku thing now. So, well, why did I let him go? I just couldn't bring myself to kill a kid. I had to kill people that day, and I still regret it. But it was either that or being hunted down for the rest of my life. And to be fair, I didn't want that to happen. They started it. They nearly killed Sammy. They injured Bendy. And they would probably have killed me too. And they probably would have tried to kill me anyway. But I still see the good in the people. I just couldn't bring myself to kill anyone any more that day. So I let the kid get away. What was his name? I don't know, I just let the kid go. If I remember, it was a girl with rabbit ears, if I remember. What was it? She had to be no younger than 5. Yeah, about 5. She had rabbit ears, white hair, I think. It's been quite a long time. I see. as those appear on the wall. I just couldn't bring myself to kill a kid. As Projector Deku puts an arm on his shoulder and projects, "You may have done the right thing." "Thanks, Projector. Have you told Alice?" "I hadn't told her this story. I'll tell her tomorrow." Go ahead. Go ahead and tell her now, before she does something reckless." You can tell when we're thinking of something that we don't even know what we're thinking. How do you do that? Just a good hunch, I guess. For a Noah that has no memory of his past, I gotta say, you're probably the best person that could have joined. Now, I wish I could hear your voice, but it doesn't seem you have one. As Projector Deku shakes his head to confirm he does not have a voice to speak out of. "I'll talk to Alice. Thank you for this conversation, Projector." As he looks at Projector, then he sees a small version of Bendy next to him, back when he was all happy and all that. As he leaves the room, I wish things could go back to that, of what they once were. As he starts to walk to go find Alice, as Projector Deku, starts to head back to his area. As he's walking, he hears sparks. As he stops and looks through the room and sees Sammy working on something. As he pulls out an image or a photo out of his pocket and starts looking at it, and starts to lay his head down. Why did I have to leave that life behind? As he starts looking at the image, as Projector Deku opens the cracked door. "Oh, Projector, what are you doing?" As he projects, "I heard some noise." "Oh, I'm fine. I've just been working on stuff, yeah." Now tell me, what about the news about the camp?" They seem to be as an image projects where they're planning like a haunted scene, like they jump scare other students and all that type thing. The night the LV attacks, that. Okay. The Lost Ones could have informed me about that, but you could get information to me quicker. As Projector Deku just nods. Thanks, by the way." As Projector Deku looks confused. "What for?" "Stepping in when you did." As Projector Deku, "I didn't do much," as he shows that on the wall. "Truth be told, if it wasn't for you and Bendy entering the room, I might have actually just have hurt both Boris and Alice." As he projects, "Why is that?" "They started fearing up the anger, and he had to bring up that incident. I was nearly killed that day. And I've already come close to death twice. Both just to be saved by Bendy." As Projector Deku then sees an image laying on the desk. "What is that?" As he currently covers the image with his hand. "Nothing." He puts it in his pocket. "None of your concern, Projector. Anyway, is there anything else you need to discuss with me? What do we plan to do for our next move?" "Yes. Well, we'll attack the camp with the villains. We'll disturb their plans, but what we're really after is I want you to throw one of those projector cameras into one of the portals." "You sure?" "Yes. If we can find All for One's location with that, Bendy can get his revenge. And this whole thing can be over. We can just live our lives here as just normal as we can be. As Deku projects, very well. Have a nice rest. As Projector Deku walks out, as he shuts the door, as Sammy Lawrence turns back around in his chair, as he pulls the image out again, as it shows a picture of a family, as he starts crying. Why? Why did I have to get turned into a Nomu? And that's where I'm going to end part 3 of What If Deku Was Projector from Bendy and the Ink Machine. Hopefully you all enjoyed. Remember to like and subscribe.